that deal and getting back in front of it, they go down pretty drastically. And so the goal is we want to make sure if you have 10 homes, 8 to 9 of them, you're getting everything done. That one-off one is always going to happen where for whatever reason, you just don't get back in front of it. But just, I want to make sure everybody is, when you walk into that house, the goal is to get that survey scheduled, to get the verification call, and to make sure that account can progress. So let's jump right into the middle. So I've just went over the magic box with the customer and I pull this paper out. I trained on the Wednesday call last week, I think. I'm losing track of my weeks. Yeah, last week. I had everybody, they could email me to get a copy of this, but this is a paper that I print off that I put in every single deal of mine. I think the biggest thing customers, they want to know what's like the process, what's in it. I found myself having to write a bunch of stuff or explaining myself 100 times. And if you're talking to a customer, they're gonna probably grasp like 10% of it. I believe if you leave them something that like has an outline or you're able to write some notes on it, at least they can look back and reference. And I want to guide them in the places they should be looking at and not like, I don't know, he didn't leave me with anything. Let's just go online and search about solar, like solar reviews. You never know what they're going to find, right? Doesn't matter if Sunrun is the best company in the world or any solar, they're going to find a review that solar, I heard, causes cancer. You should never do it. And they're like, why would I sign up for this? So like, I want them looking at, okay, the next step is this, the next step is this, the next step is this, and then we'll figure it out. So you can send me an email right there on the screen. I'll send you a PDF of this. I printed off. I showed all of you a million times, but inside the pamphlets, which new pamphlets should be here this week, I just put it in the back of the pamphlet, okay? So this is what it looks like all pretty. But when I pull it out after I go over the magic box, I let the customer know that this is kind of like the negative or this is the downfall to solar, is the process. So I walk through start to finish, okay? The unfortunate news of solar is from start to finish, it takes 2 to 3 months before we're like thinking solar panels on a house, okay? I want the customer to be very set at ease that we're not going to come and put these panels up tomorrow. Okay. So it takes 2 to 3 months before we're like really thinking about it. The first step, I came yesterday or the day before, whatever, and I took a picture of your bill and got those photos done. Check box, we're good. The second step, I just explained the program to you because I just got done talking about it. We're all done with that. I'm going to show you the design in just a second. And the third thing we're going to do is we're going to schedule your site survey. The survey is going to determine if the home physically can do solar or it cannot. Because right now, we're not like guaranteeing we can do your house, okay? In order for me to schedule the site survey, I've got to put these documents on file. One is the written offer, and two, there's a utility application that I have to put on file. So I'll send those to your email like it's like DocuSign. To put them on so we can schedule your survey to determine if the house is good to go. If you're in Florida or other markets that require one more thing, or in Illinois, I know you guys have the ABP, I would write that on there right next to those documents. Obviously, the whole purpose of me writing this down is I'm soft seeding to the customer that they're going to be signing something. There's going to be documents that are coming in about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm always soft seeding things that could be like an alarm to some customers. We've probably been there before, or if you're just like, all right, cool, everything looks good. I just got to send you these documents to sign. And they're like, wait, what documents am I signing? Right? Like, we don't even know like which, if it makes sense or if we haven't decided yet. Right. And so I always like to soft seed like, hey, in order for me to schedule the survey, I've got to send you these documents through DocuSign. I'll send it to your email in just a minute. That we have. I'll get your email in just a sec, but that's to schedule the survey. Cool. When we schedule the survey, this is what's going to happen. He's going to come and look at 3 things. He's going to look at your electric panel, your roof, and the structure of your home. This survey, like I said, is a pass or a fail. If it's a pass, great. That just means our warranty's good. We're going to warranty what we said, and your house is totally fine, and we shouldn't have any issues. If it fails, obviously we got to figure out what things, if we can fix them, or if we're unable to fix them to make your house like viable for solar. This is where we lose most people, unfortunately, is not every home is an automatic like solar house. There's a lot of homes out there for various reasons. We just can't work with every single property. Okay. So I want to take that buying pressure away by using that language. After your survey, they're going to send me a final design. I will call you, or I'll actually set another appointment to come back and show you that design. That design is basically what we for sure can do at your house. So I'll know all the answers. I'll get all the results back. I'll come and meet with you or call you on the phone really quick. Cool. If everything looks good at the final design, we've got to get the permits and we've got to get the utility company to approve everything. This step could take 4 to 5 weeks. We don't dictate it. We don't control it. It's kind of out of our control. We submit everything. We do it all. You guys don't have to do anything, but it's kind of just like a waiting game. Sometimes I'll mention to the customer here, hey, are you a person that likes to get updated like once a week or just when things change? Or do you want me to text you every night? And every customer's like, oh, no, like just text me when things like change, okay? If they're answering the questions that I'm talking about the permits and the township, like, oh, just text me when things change, they're answering what we call buying questions, right? They're agreeing to move forward. They're telling you, hey, just contact me when things are changing or whichever. That's telling you like, we're good to go, right? So I can do a lot of heat checks, and I know if the customer's like, because I haven't signed any documents yet, right? So, but I know I can gauge the customer where they're at. If everything gets approved, we can come and do the install and electric. It takes 1 day. It's really quick and easy. It's not like a crazy event. They come in, they do the install, and they leave. I'm very clear with all my customers here that I want you guys to be fully aware that we're about 70% of the way done. We don't just turn the panels on right when we install them on your house. It actually takes some time because we have to do the inspection. And then after the inspection, the utility company comes and gives you that new meter, or they allow us to operate the system. So I'm just very clear. It's the most frustrating part for a homeowner is I got panels on my house and they don't work. They work. We just can't turn them on until we have permission to. So I just want you to be aware, Mr. Jones, when the panels get installed, we're about 70% of the way done. Okay. What questions, Mr. Customer, do you have about the process? This is when I open up questions. I don't ask questions throughout the entire time until I get done with this, because I want the questions to be centered on this page. Oh, hey, has the utility company ever said no? Sometimes, depends. Obviously, your area should be fine. Okay, like what if my roof is like 5 years old and like or like 30 years old? What do you think? Do you think it's gonna pass? I'm like, I don't know. I don't determine that. Survey does. So they're asking buying questions if they're asking you anything on this sheet. If I ask them, do you have any questions? And they're like, yeah, all this makes sense, but like, go back to the other part. The solar, you're going to charge us 20 cents per kilowatt, right? If they ask that question, then I'm like, uh-oh, they weren't even listening to me about this. They were still focused on the magic box stuff that we covered last week. They were still focused on, oh, I don't know about the rate. Am I going to save money? Like, if they start asking those questions, I've got to redo it all and go back through this. I've got to take them back to that point of the question and re-explain it so they understand it and then move forward. So I just like using this. I feel like it does a lot of things and it's only positive. So if you're not using something like this, I would encourage you, you can email me. I'll send it right to you. You go print it off at Staples. It's all compliant, legal, it's good to go with it. After I answer any of their questions, I say, cool, let me show you your design quick. I already have the design. It's at this view that you can see on the screen. I literally showed them the design. Like, that's it. Remember, a customer doesn't need to know where the panels are made. There's random customers out there that are like, hey, I looked into solar. I want my panels made from Germany or whatever. But most of the time, 90%, The customers don't even know that solar panels are made in 20 different countries or how many brands there are. Okay. So I show them the design. I make the design, obviously. I'm the expert. My pay is tied to making the best design possible for the customer. So I know some people are like, oh, you don't let them like design their own system. They're not solar experts. Cameron's the solar expert, right? Unless I show them this and I explain everything's good and they're like, hey, Cameron, I will never go solar ever. I don't care how much money I'll save if you put them on the front of my house. Like, put them on the back, we're good to go. I'm like, okay, let me explain to you why they're on the front. That's the best sun. You're saving the most if it's on the front. Just want to be very clear. If they're like, I don't care, take them off. Okay, cool. We'll take them off. We'll remove them, whatever. But I am basically saying this is the best case scenario. This is the best possible design for your house. Good news is we maxed out your roof, or we maxed out all the power that they'll allow us to put, or whichever. So this is the best case scenario. I let customers know. Tiago on the Wednesday call today was really good. I'm a big fan of the high five too. I let people know, hey, good news. You got just over the average in your neighborhood with the amount of panels. Honestly, I would consider your house like literally like a solar home run. Like, congrats. And I like high five them. I put my hand up in the air and I like high five them, like, congrats. If someone high fives you after you show them their design and you said congrats and they like smile, they gotta feel good and they're definitely moving forward. They're like, cool, sounds good. It's a solar home run, Cameron said, and everything must be good. He's the solar guy, not me. Okay. Then I move on. The design is 2 to 3 minutes. It's not this like long, like, oh, do you think the panels would go here or there or this or that? It's like, here's the design, solar home run, congrats, and then we move on. After the design is paperwork. So now I've got to get into the paperwork. Remember, we've already soft seeded paperwork on the screen. So it shouldn't be that weird. After the design, okay, cool. Let's get your survey set up. Couple things on paperwork. New people, for whatever reason, I know this may resonate with some of you. Sometimes you feel like the contract and stuff is like, ooh, they're signing like 30 pages, 35 pages. They're signing a big contract. They just met me a couple days ago. Like, ooh, I can't believe we make them sign this contract. It's obviously not binding until the panels get installed. But the biggest thing that new people need to realize is if you're mentally thinking this is a really big deal, like you're nervous to sign a contract with them, they're going to feel that and it's going to be a big deal. To me, I literally am like, these people sign crazy contracts, and everyone that has a smartphone signs a crazy contract all the time that no one ever reads. You just click accept terms and you signed a contract, and it could be 60 pages and you didn't even know because you're like, I don't know, it's just my iPhone. Like, I don't care. I want to use the app or I want to use my phone. So I just accept it. It's not a big deal. People do it all the time. Okay. I always refer to it as definitely never a contract. It's never, hey, we got to sign the contract now. It's always, hey, let me send you this written offer. It will double as the agreement if everything gets approved. Hey, I got to send you the written offer. It has the insurance in it as well for the guy that comes and checks out your house. So I never refer to it as the 25-year contract. If you're saying contract, get that word out of your word bank immediately, because nobody wants to sign a contract. You could tell me, hey, I'll give you $1,000 if you sign this contract. People will be like, let me read that contract. They just don't like that word, even if it was nothing scary and I literally got $1,000 just by signing something. Okay. So be careful on the wording that you're using. A lot of those words are like really red flags. The cancellation policy. I always role play this, and I'll do it one more time. So I'm going to give you 2 scenarios. In the chat box, I want you to put the one that you think is best, A or B. So I'm going to say A and I'll say B. And then I want you guys to put in the chat box which answer is correct. Okay. So A is this. Hey, just so you're fully aware, like, just because I came to your house and everything was approved, like, Sunrun today is not like committed to you guys by any means. Like we're not guaranteeing we're going to do your house today. We have a lot to work to do and a lot to check out. And obviously that's vice versa. Okay. That's A. Two, B is this. Hey, just a heads up, like just because you're signing this, like just I want you to know you can cancel at any time. Like nothing's final until we put the panels on the house. Like you're not obligated. You can cancel. This is totally just to get your survey done. If you don't like something, you can cancel whenever. All right, in the chat box, A or B? All right, you guys are too smart. I gotta get better at my questions. Too obvious. No B's. I didn't even trick one person. Dang. All right, so A is the right answer, right? That sounds way better than saying, oh, you can cancel at any time. Immediately when I think, hey, I just told them that solar's good, doesn't cost anything, saves them money, here's the process. And then I say, you can cancel at any time. They're like, why would people cancel this, right? And what do you think they're Googling? They're Googling, why do people cancel solar panels? And then all sorts of fun stuff arrives, right? I couldn't sell my home in Nebraska because I had a loan that's this and this. And the customer's like, what? I read a review in Nebraska and I should cancel it because I live in Illinois and I don't know, it could screw me, right? Like, I don't want the customer to feel like canceling's a thing. Like, it's actually Sunrun cancels you. Like, that's just how it goes. Or this makes sense and everybody does it if everything checks out. Okay. So keep that in mind, making sure you're explaining that properly. Because on the welcome call, they asked the question, did Cameron go over the notice of cancellation with you? I can point to that and tell them I went over it and use that language. Okay. All right. On the, as far as documents go, I go over the cover page. So in the checkout, you can open the PDF of the agreement. I'll go over the cover page on my iPad before I send it to them. Hey, I'm about to send this to you in a minute. You got to initial a couple spots and sign. Here's what it looks like. It's everything that I just went over with you on the back of your pamphlet. It has all this info in writing for you. It's going to be in your email. I just wanted to show you this. This is what's about to come to you. So I go over the points, make sure no cost. Here's the rate, yada, yada, yada. Go over all the warranty, everything. And then I email it to them. I don't say, here's the 30-page offer. Let's go through it. I feel like some people, you guys almost like probe them to not sign it because you're showing them like, it's not that I'm trying to hide it from them. It's just at the moment, it really doesn't matter what they think or don't think about the agreement because we're not even close to the install. So they're going to get a copy of their email. Everything's going to give it to them perfectly. I go over the cover page. And then obviously if I'm a homeowner, I'm going to do my due diligence and take and read over that thing that someone sent me. But they trust me. So a homeowner should, once you send it to them, they should just be clicking it and saying, I hit finish, go ahead. On Saturday, my welcome call was like, hey, I trust you. I literally didn't read any of that document, so I hope you don't screw me. That was like their exact words. And I was like, well, I am very confident that I'm not screwing one person ever because I believe in our products and I know we're doing the right thing. And so it gave me like great, like, oh, cool. So the presentation works. They were like all in. They were like, cool, we trust you. This makes sense. It's logical. I don't really care what that says because I agree with it. Okay. And then lastly, I'll make sure that you understand how you're navigating the agreements. So I don't just click email and say, hey, that went to your email. Go ahead and walk through it. Some people, they're like, they may have never signed DocuSign before. They don't know like what to do, where to go and navigate. So I mentally can tell you everything to walk through without even looking at the document or looking at anything. I literally, okay, pull up in your email. Okay, cool. Yep, it says from Sunrun. Okay, in the middle of the email, it's going to say view documents. It's like a green bar. Okay, click that. All right, there's going to be a pop-up that says to allow your location for DocuSign. You could put block or allow, it doesn't matter. Okay, click a little checkbox in the bottom that says you agree to, being on your electronic device, your phone. Click continue. All right, cool. There's that cover page I just showed you. On the top right, there's a green button that says next. If you click next, it's going to take you to the spots you just need to sign off on. Yep, the little orange box, click that. You can sign your name, or there's a little tab that says select style. It signs it for you if you like it fancy. Click that. Okay, every single box you just have to check that pops up, and then the green next button is going to turn to finish. Okay, click finish. All right, cool. Let me see if I got it. I got it back. Great, you did it right. So I like literally know exactly every step of them going through the actual agreement. I don't want to just send it to them and say, all right, check it out. Because then people are like, I'm going to read through all of this. I'll get it back to you. Okay. So you've got to like literally coach them through the entire process. All right. After we've signed the agreement and the NEM or the net metering, we got to prep for the verification call. It's the very last step. You could do everything perfect up to this point, but if they don't pass the verification call, it's this appointment literally just wasted an hour of your life. Okay. So I always reference it as the compliance call. Hey, sorry, I know I've been here for a minute. The last thing that we do is corporate does a compliance call with you. Sunrun is publicly traded, so they're very trustworthy with my position. They want to make sure I explained everything properly to you. I didn't make any false promises like buying you guys a new car, paying your house off. Every single time they laugh, ah ha ha, like, will you get me a new car? I'm like, oh yeah, don't tell them, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Make them laugh a little bit. But they take my position very seriously, which is a good thing. They just want to make sure I did everything properly, okay? So on this call, they're going to ask you these questions. Good news is the Magic Box has most of the weird questions and numbers that they don't have to remember. I can just point to it right there on the page, okay? So this is what I have this on the back of the pamphlet, the Magic Box. Here's the questions that are asked on the survey, on the welcome call. I like to write them on the front cover of every pamphlet. So I put compliance call at the top, and I do a role play with the customer, right? Because I want them to feel like he went over this. Nothing is worse when someone on corporate asks a question and they're like, what? Like, he never went over that. Or what, like, if you miss something, obviously the deal could be toast, right? Because then they're like, oh, you didn't tell me. So I run through the call with them really quickly as they're basically like signing. I'm like signing documents and writing this out. So here's what it looks like on the pamphlet. So I just put compliance call, and this is my language when I talk to the customer. All right, cool. This is the first question. They're going to actually verify your name and your contact info. You'll just obviously your email and your phone number, the one that you gave me. Cool. They're going to make sure I explained everything in the language you understood, which was English, right? Cool. If you're Spanish, say Spanish. They're going to make sure, obviously, you understand the panels are good for 25 years. After that, you have a couple options. You can buy the system, which I don't know why you would. Don't do that. You can keep it going, like renew it. We can put a new system up after that time, or we'll just remove it at no cost. So I always tell people, hey, either option 3 or option 4 probably is going to be the best, but you'll have a decision to make when that time comes, or if you live here, like, don't worry about it. They're going to make sure I went over that your electric bill for the first year won't be more than the $90, and it's capped at the 2.99%. They're going to make sure you understand that after the survey, we want to get that design I showed you as close as possible, but it could change. Like, we're not married to that design. We just don't know for sure what design we can do. Remember the cancellation policy. Sunrun is not committed to you right this second. But obviously after the survey, we'll let you know a final design that's like vice versa. And then if the power goes out, your system can shut down for grid safety, just so they can work on the line and they don't get, electrocute themselves. Obviously, if they have a battery, I'm putting in a plug. Good news, power goes out, your battery is going to back up your home. So thumbs up. And then lastly, they're just going to verify you're going to get everything in your email. You'll get a copy of everything in your email. Okay. So all these questions, they're going to talk really fast. Literally, you just have to say yes. Bad news, if you say no, you'll never see me again. So I'll be fired. So just heads up. So I always joke with them on that. So they're like, oh my gosh, I better give a good grade to Cameron, right? They feel like the call is like giving Cameron a good grade and not like, making sure I explained everything properly. So all of them are pretty smooth and easy, especially in certain states. You can't even be in the house. So I would definitely role play. I never just say, hey, they got to do this call with you. Call in. They're going to ask you these questions and put it on speaker. Then they're like, wait, 2.99? Like, what are you talking about? I have it. I wrote it down. I went through the questions. It's easy and they've heard it. Okay. All right. Takeaways. And then we can have some questions at the end. If you have a question, you can start putting it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and ask it. Try to keep the questions obviously tailored to what we went over today. But here's some takeaways. That checklist sheet is half of the process. It's literally, if I'm in a house for an hour, my presentation is probably 35, 40 minutes. Like 15, 20 minutes of the presentation is spent on that checklist. Like that sheet that I put in the back. That's half of my time. Okay. So I go over the timeline and process quite a bit. The design, showing the design, is 5 minutes or less. I do not spend a ton of time on the design because to me, it is what it is. It is the design, the best case scenario that I can give them. Okay. Paperwork should be somewhat simple. It really should be. If you're getting a lot of customers wanting to read the contract, they don't trust you. Just sorry to say that, but that's the bottom line is they don't trust you if they're having to comb through the agreement all the time. Now, granted, you're still going to get 1 or 2 out of 10 people that are going to want to read the agreement. That's normal. But I'm saying every single account you go to wants to read the contract. You're doing something wrong before, and it's making them want to read it because they don't trust you. And then if I can't stress it enough, make sure you walk through the verification call. Here's the questions. Here's what they're going to ask you. Okay, cool. Make sure you give me a good grade. And then call in and you've already walked through it. So they've already heard the questions from you. And then they're going to hear it from somebody else. Okay. All right. Questions. We got, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. We can hang on, ask some questions. If you don't have questions or you're way too good at this job, you're more than welcome to hop off now. I'm just teasing. Everyone, if you need to go or you have an appointment or you're knocking, you're welcome to go. If you have questions, hang on. If you want to hear some people's questions, sometimes you've had it before. This call is every single Wednesday, same time, same link. So we'll be same time next week about the same thing. So let's go to some questions. I see 2 in the chat. Oh, I don't see a question, but the high five. Yep, Manny, high five is good stuff. Any questions from anybody? You're welcome to come off of mute or put them in the chat. I'll hang on for a minute. Easy peasy. All right. Well, that's all we got today. Appreciate everyone jumping on. Have a good week, and we will see you next week.